You're listening to the Sports Moment, January 2nd, 2024, part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment, sponsored by Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Here's Craig.
Starting out our first ever podcast with results from the holiday tournaments were held this past week around the area. Fergus Falls and Pelican Rapids hosted basketball tournaments, and the Otter boys and girls both won their championships. The Otter boys started with a very nice win on Thursday over Worthington, a team that had been averaging 76 points a game, and the Otters, whose mantra has been really strong defense, held them to 36. And they also did some really nice things on the offensive end as they distributed 18 assists in that game and went on to beat Worthington 65-36. Henry Bethel has come alive offensively. He's been very consistent. He scored a game-high 26 points and was joined in double digits by Ryan Hurst, who had 14 points. Hurst completed a solid all-around night with 6 rebounds and also had 3 blocked shots in that game. And Henry Bethel also came up with 4 steals to lead the team in that category. Then on Friday night, in the championship game against a very good Morris area Chicago, Alberta team, the Otters won again, 74-58, the final score. And they jumped out to a 16-0 lead in that game and never looked back. And I did ask Matt Johnson, the head coach of the Otter boys basketball team, after that championship game win, what has made their defensive efforts so effective so far this season?
Yeah, I think it's just a focused intensity, whether we're on the ball or off the ball. I think we're giving a much better team effort. Micah and Henry are doing a great job of applying ball pressure up top, knowing that on the back end they've got guys like Ryan Hurst who protect the rim really well. So it's been really fun to see our kids buy into the defensive end and hold a couple really quality offensive teams to some pretty low numbers.
On the offensive end, Henry Bethel scored 23 points and he had 8 rebounds. Ryan Hurst had 10 points and Levi King dished out 5 assists in that game. In fact, as a team, the Otters recorded 20 assisted baskets on the night. Coach Johnson talked about sharing the basketball.
You know, it's a group that's played a lot of basketball together, an unselfish group, and learning, you know, a system in terms of spacing and how we want to move the ball makes a difference. Mike has done a good job setting the table, but it's really it's a collective effort. Ryan Hurst, I would say, we've like to play through the post as much as we can, and he's done a great job of distributing. And you look at our 3-point percentages on inside-out stuff that's come from him, or Jack Ratz or Alex Ellison in the post. We shot it at a really high clip, and so it's not just one guy creating for everybody. I feel like it's a team effort to do that. And our assist numbers this weekend, I think we had 18 last night and 20 tonight. I might be off a couple on that, but it's been really impressive to watch our guys move the ball.
Henry Bethel, Ryan Hurst, and Micah Johnson all earned all-tournament team recognition as the Otters won their home tourney and improved their season record to 5-2. They will be back in action on Friday night when they host the Brainerd Warriors in a Central Lakes Conference matchup. Now, the Otter girls basketball team was also victorious in their tournament as they won both of their games, winning on Thursday 55-42. It was tied at 25-25 at halftime against the Detroit Lakes Lakers, coached by former Otter Rachel Johnson, who got her team to state last year. And Fergus Falls used a full-court pressure defense to take control of that game in the second half. Bryn Sternberg came up with 9 steals. Bella Anderson had 5 steals as the Otters forced 32 Detroit Lakes turnovers in that game. Hattie Fullhart led the Otters with 16 points, and Sternberg had 15 points and 6 rebounds, while Ruby Ellison added 13 points. Now, the Otters followed up that performance with another great game on Friday. They, like the Otter boys, started the championship game on a 16-0 run and went on to win 64-46 over Big Lake in the championship. Offensively, it was Bryn Sternberg, 22 points, 12 rebounds, leading the way. I did talk to Bryn about her offense after the game, asked her what is working on that end of the floor.
It's pretty good for me to be hitting wide open threes. I mean, like, they're not always wide open, but knocking them down when I get a look. And just being aggressive towards the basket. I've been finding myself at the free throw line more than I was last year, and that also allows me to steal some points here and there too. So just being more aggressive on the bounce and knocking down some open looks when I get the chance.
Hattie Fullhart had 13 points and 10 rebounds, 7 of them on the offensive end, as she and Sternberg registered double-doubles in the game. And they were joined in double figures again by Ruby Ellison with 11 points. The Otters didn't shoot the ball that well, only 29% from the field, but they did make 14 of their 20 free throw attempts. One thing that stood out, though, was that 16-0 run to start the game, and I asked Hattie Fullhart what was going on at the start of the game.
We showed up, we brought the energy, we knew what we had to do, we executed, we had our bench cheering us on. We were relying on our teammates, and we trusted them.
And head coach Josh Steer was very impressed with his team's defensive play.
I can't take all the credit. Bringing on Coach Sternberg, he's brought a lot of philosophies and a matchup zone over from the boys' side that we've adopted, and he's done a great job of implementing that. So I can't take all the credit there. I got to share some of that because he's doing a great job, and I think sometimes it's good for somebody on the outside like him. This is his first year on staff to share some of his ideas and his philosophies, and the girls kind of hang on every word that he's saying. So, but tonight was a phenomenal effort on the defensive side, and we've been preaching the 3 E's, energy, effort, and enthusiasm. And tonight I think we brought all 3 of those to start the game, which we needed to have a good start.
Well, defense has really been a key for the Otters, who are off to a 6-3 start. However, offensively, Coach Steer also likes what he's seen as far as the shot selection and the offensive execution.
With the shot clock, I think you're seeing a lot of zones. You're seeing a lot of 3-2 zones. You're seeing a lot of 1-3-1 zones and 2-3 zones, and because they're a little tougher to crack. So we've had to prepare for a lot of different fronts. Tonight, Big Lake played mostly man all night. They switched to a little zone late in the second half, but we finally actually got kind of something in our wheelhouse. We really like man offense. It comes natural to us. Zone offense is always a little bit tougher, and that's why you're seeing more of it with the shot clock, because teams need to adjust to that, and they burn time by doing that. So tonight we kind of hit our stride on offensive execution, and I think against Detroit Lakes, our defense created our offense, so it's kind of a tale of 2 nights on the offensive side for us.
Well, the Otters will travel to St. Cloud on Thursday, and they will face the Crush in a Central Lakes Conference meeting. Lake Area Docks and Lifts is one of our sponsors on our podcast. We appreciate Donovan and Renee Rasmussen jumping on board with us. They do great work around the area and have been great supporters of youth activities at all levels. And Lake Area Docks and Lifts has 5 locations in Minnesota. And they encourage you to check out their boat show booths if you're at the Minneapolis Convention Center or the Fargo Dome for the boat shows in January. They'll have booths at both locations. And boat show discount promotion is effective now from Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Save money before spring. Visit them online or at those boat shows here in January. Pelican Rapids also hosted a holiday basketball tournament, and the Pelican Rapids boys and girls were very successful as they each won their tournament championship. The Pelican Rapids boys edged the West Central Area Knights, the state-ranked Knights. Craig Hunter's team has been having a great start, but the Pelican boys won 70-64 in that championship game. The Vikings' Timmy Guler, Charlie Larson, and Brody Severson were all selected to the all-tournament team, and Timmy Guler scored 29 in that championship game to lead the way. He had 18 of them in the second half. West Central area was represented on the all-tournament team by Cam Anderson, Ben Bai, and Mitchell Dewey. It was only the second loss of the season for the Knights, who will play at Barnesville on a Thursday night and then in Glenwood on Friday against Minnewaska area as they get back into their regular season schedule. Big night for Cam Anderson as he had 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Ben Bai had a double-double in that championship game with 19 points and 10 rebounds. Pelican Rapids improved to 9-1 with the win. They will be taking a 4-game winning streak into their home game with East Grand Forks on Friday night. Now, the Pelican Rapids girls topped New York Mills to win the Valhalla division of their Minnesota National Bank Classic as they won 62-48 over the Eagles. Pelican led 32-23 at the half, and they had 3 players, Morgan Korf, Ellie Welch, and Claudia Garath, named to the all-tournament team. New York Mills is represented by Elena Baune and Ayla Olson. Korf led all scorers with 25 points in the game. She also had 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 7 steals. Ellie Welch and Ari Hovland finished with 14 and 10 points, respectively. Welch added 8 rebounds. Hovland had 4 assists. Olson scored 20 to lead New York Mills. The Vikings are 9-0 as they get ready for Heart of Lakes Conference action at home on Thursday against the Barnesville Trojans. Now, the other girls' tournament was the Valkyrie division, and the Underwood Rockets matched up with West Central area in the championship game, and the Rockets won that one 70-46. Coach Brian Hovland thought it was probably the best game his team has played, both defensively and offensively. Liz Lucken scored a game-high 27. Trinity Baker added 13 points, 6 assists, and 5 steals. And Millie Alberg had 12 points and 6 rebounds. Callan Grove, 6 points, 6 assists, 5 blocks, 4 steals, and 12 boards. Talk about a solid floor game. The Rockets buried 9 of 19 threes in that game. Jaden Steiba was the scoring leader for West Central area with a dozen, and she was joined in double digits by Macy Gross, who scored 10. Steiba and Addie Staples were named to the all-tournament team. Lucken, Grove, and Trinity Baker were named to the all-tournament team for the Rockets. Underwood is now 7-1. They have won their last 4 games, and they'll resume Little 8 conference play on Tuesday at home against Battle Lake. And West Central area had that 7-game winning streak end as they slipped to 8-3 overall. They'll be hosting Osakis on Thursday and will travel to Glenwood to face Minnewaska area on Friday night. So it's a very busy high school tournament season. And at the college level, the Spartan men won twice to claim their Spartan Classic title as they beat Minnesota North College of Itasca on Friday by a score of 83-64, and then beat Sisseton Wahpeton on Saturday 93-65, improving to 8-5 on the season. The Spartans only had 8 turnovers in that championship game on Saturday. They will open MCAC Southern Division play with a road contest on Wednesday at Minnesota West Community and Technical College in Worthington. And then the conference home season opens on Saturday with a 3 p.m. start against Riverland Community College. The Spartan women played only 1 game in their Holiday Classic as they shot over 53% in an 85-36 win over Sisseton Wahpeton on Saturday afternoon. The Lady Spartans are now 6-4. They will also have a road game down in Worthington on Wednesday and then open their home conference schedule against Riverland on Saturday. Jana Grunwald was on fire. She hit 11 of 15 field goal attempts and 7 of 8 free throws to finish with a game-high 31 points. Itzel Salazar and Mo Bugby added 22 apiece, and Brooke Finken was the top rebounder with a dozen. And a wrestling highlight for the Otters, as freshman Caleb Froning, wrestling at 145 points, was the Otters' lone champion at the Benson Braves Wrestling Classic on Saturday. Congratulations to Caleb on that victory. Nolan Field and Max Brunn were 4th-place finishers, and Austin Longoria and Paula Carrillo were in 5th place in their weight classes, while Jack Brunn, Caston Hartwell, and Antonio Parker all placed 6th in that tournament. Well, you're listening to Craig Olson, Sports Moments and Memories, our podcast, our debut podcast. We want to thank Lake Area Docks and Lifts for being one of our sponsors on the podcast. Donovan and Renee Rasmussen are great supporters of youth activities all around the region, and Lake Area Docks and Lifts serves you from 5 different locations in Minnesota. You can check out their boat show booths at the Minneapolis Convention Center and the Fargo Dome in January. Boat show discount promotions are in effect now, and that means you can save money before spring arrives. Let's take a look around the region at some of the things that are happening with the Timberwolves and Wild primarily, because some pretty good things are happening on both fronts, especially on the Timberwolves front. Now, they did get beat on New Year's Day. The New York Knicks beat them 112-106. Timberwolves kind of ran into a team that was, well, pretty hot, and they did make a trade that got OG Anunoby on their roster, and he scored 17 in a strong debut and joined Julius Randle, who had 39, to help the Knicks to that 112-106 win over the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards had 35 for Minnesota. That's the 3rd straight game that they had 30 or more points. And Karl Anthony Towns snapped out of a recent scoring slump as he added 29 points for the Wolves. They will host New Orleans in their next game on Wednesday. Minnesota is now 24-8. Their lead is down to a game and a half in the Northwest Division over Oklahoma City because the Thunder have won 4 in a row. They've been playing very well. Denver is only 2 games back in the Northwest Division standing. It's going to be an interesting race for the Timberwolves to stay in it with that top record. They're second only to Boston as far as the best record in the NBA. And on the NHL side of things, Marc-Andre Fleury became the 4th goalie in NHL history to play in 1,000 games when he was in net for the Minnesota Wild's game against the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday. Martin Brodeur, Robert Luongo, and Patrick Waugh are the only goalies to have played in more games than the 39-year-old Fleury, who is now in his 3rd season with the Wild. He spent the bulk of his career in Pittsburgh, making 691 appearances in 13 seasons with the Penguins. Now, he got beat in that game by Winnipeg 3-2, but what an impressive run by Marc-Andre Fleury in the National Hockey League. Tomorrow on Sports Moments and Memories, we're going to take a look at the NFL playoff picture and what kind of a chance do the Vikings have at making it into the playoffs. And as Vikings fans, do we even want them to get there? It's been so frustrating lately, I'm not sure that I want to go through any playoff games involving the Vikings. But we'll break it down tomorrow as you join us again for Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson. We appreciate you joining us today and want to thank Donovan and Renee Rasmussen at Lake Area Docks and Lifts, one of our sponsors on the podcast. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson, sponsored by Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Tune in tomorrow for the January 3rd Sports Moment. And mark your calendars for the very first Sports Memory episode featuring the 2000-2001 Lady Spartan National Championship basketball team, coming out January 10th.